So
one time, right? One time I left a kid at home. Okay.
and you call me asking if I have her.
Poor Ellie. Hey, first of all, it wasn't even my fault why I had
I know
to
who
leave
you're
so
gonna
fast.
blame.
You.
No, you're blaming. Oh, I didn't tell you to take any kids with you. I asked you to go up and get a child that was.
Here's the context, just for the audience. Okay, so yesterday.
Hello, everyone. We are Greg and Jacquie Francis, and welcome to High Performance Parenting, where our passionate goal is to encourage you to raise champion children in a crazy world. Every week, we will bring you multiple episodes from our extensive experience of raising our six happy, healthy, successful, godly kids who are confidently equipped to win big in life.
We deeply believe that any parent who is provided with the right knowledge and continual support can raise amazing kids. And when they do, all of our futures get better. If raising up future generations of absolute champions matters to you as much as it does to us, here's how you can contribute. Like and share this podcast with everyone you know. And together, let's embrace this journey of raising champion kids in a crazy world.
What were you doing there for a minute, hon?
Down.
Welcome back, everybody.
Hey, nobody knows.
I just thought you wanted to clue everyone in, our community.
Yeah.
That's all. I didn't know.
A little video countdown thing, like 5, 4, and you just look at me like.
I don't roll my eyes. That's disrespectful.
Well, it felt like you were rolling your eyes.
You felt like it.
Felt like
I'm staring at you with big green eyes.
With the eyebrows up?
Well, that means I'm paying attention.
It does, huh? Can you put them down right now?
No, thank you.
They don't go down, do they?
It's like a bad Botox, right? The eyebrows are staying up.
Yeah, totally. So glad that you don't do that.
Yeah. Okay, moving on. We're still talking about appreciation today, which is so neat. I swear we could talk about this forever. Because again, it's the little things that you train your children up with that make the biggest difference in everyday life. And I just think it's so important as parents to recognize that, again, we get to do this. We don't have to do this.
Yep.
Because really we're training our kids up to go out into the world to thrive. You know what I mean? And appreciation is a big part of thriving in the world, you know?
So another practical tip is how we have trained the kids to make sure they ask, what is the game plan when we're going somewhere, right? You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, again, it doesn't matter your size of family or anything like that. Everybody needs to understand when you're going to go somewhere, what's expected. You know, like when we leave the house, typically, I mean, like, for instance, if they're going to go to practice, what's expected is that you have all your equipment ready to go. You're dressed, you're ready, you're standing by the door, ready to leave. We're not waiting on you. You're waiting on us. I was just teaching Belle the other day because one of the cars were parked outside. That means you have to scrape the car in the morning and have it warmed up even because I have to leave at like 5:45 in the morning to drop her off. And like, this is what's expected. I'm telling you ahead of time so that I'm not irritated. Okay. So all of us kind of get that when you go on a business meeting, right? You pack up all your business equipment that you need. Well, we kind of realize with our kids that we'll go places, whether it's an event as a family, we're going to visit people, we're going to go to dinner, or if we're going to go even out for the evening as a family and do something fun, whatever it may be, it's typically like, hey, here's what's expected of you. You know what I mean? We tell them ahead of time. First of all, we want you ready at this time. If we want to leave at 6, our rule, our house is you have to be ready 30 minutes ahead of time. Like all kids need to be up, ready, like literally coats on, shoes on, ready to go. We don't want to be screaming through the house for people. I mean, we don't want to leave anybody, you know, like,
whoa,
that's not a good idea.
Okay.
So
one time I left a kid at home. Okay.
And you call me asking if I have her.
Poor Ellie. Hey, first of all, it wasn't even my fault why I had
I know
to leave
who you're
so
going to
fast.
blame.
You.
No, you're blaming. Oh, I didn't tell you to take any kids with you. I asked you to go up and get a child that was.
Here's the context, just for the audience. Okay, so yesterday, we had listen. I'm doing my coaching calls. I'm finishing up. I had agreed that I was going to take Bella to practice. Right?
Yeah, like the day before you had.
No, you said actually you were going to do both. You were going to take her and get him.
Well, the day before you were like planning on it, and then I sent you a message. I was like, I can take her because she only has it for an hour.
So
I'm going to run some errands.
So it wasn't on my schedule. It wasn't my responsibility. And then as I got done with coaching calls, I just text you nicely as
I called you.
No, hold on. Hold on now. I text you and I said, hey, if you need me to take Bella, I'm glad to do it because
Right.
I kind of could use a mental break anyways, kind of thing. And you're like, well, she's only got there for an hour. I'm going to drop her off, run some errands, come pick her back up. So, no, you don't need to. And I was like, okay, well, then you just go. No big deal. And then I'm just like kind of working on stuff here at the house. And all of a sudden I get this phone call. Hey, can you go get Bella real quick from the middle school? I'm like, what? This is practice at 5:30. This is now like 5:25. Okay. And you explained to me that apparently there was a miscommunication that practice wasn't at the middle school. It was actually at the high school. And so now Bella's at the middle school practicing by herself while her team's at the high school. But you had already gone somewhere. You wouldn't get back in time.
Yeah,
right?
traffic
and
and
she's
stuff.
like, and you're like, yeah, but you need to go right away because like she's already late. And I'm like, okay. So I'm running around. I'm grabbing my keys.
Okay, but let's stop.
I go in to get my keys.
I allowed you to have a mental break, and this is
okay, hold on.
this is my fault. I allow you to have I allowed it.
That's what I needed, your allowance for me to get a mental break. Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds like a mental break. But
Well,
yeah.
I mean, that's what you asked for.
Thanks, Mom. But I go in to get my keys, and there's Chrissy sitting at the counter, and Jerusa's standing next to her. I'm like, kids, is you the only kids here? Did Mom take everybody else? Yeah. I'm like, all right, well, let's go. You guys want to go with me? Or I didn't say you had to go. I'm just like, you can want to go with me? I got to go right now. I got to pick up. I'll explain it in the way. They're like, yeah, sure. They all run. We get in the car. We take off down the road. We get going. We're about 3 minutes down the road. And all of a sudden, Drew's like, I think Ellie's home.
Okay, back that up.
I'm
This
like,
up.
are you serious? And then Chrissy's kind of like, yeah, I can see Chrissy. She's kind of like, okay, I think that's true, but I'm going to make sure I don't take the blame for this.
Drews literally had just gotten done playing with golf with the girl, came in, grabbed food, and forgot about her. And you're like, he's like, squirrel. Like, literally, you're like, hey, let's go. And he's like, great. Oh, all on my own. Just take care of me. You know what I mean?
So then we
Like,
call Ellie, and Ellie answers, and she's like, hi. And we're like, hi. What you doing? And she's like, what are you guys doing?
yeah, I bet.
We're like, well, we're driving down the road, and you're home, I think, aren't you? Yeah. Where is everybody?
She'd been downstairs in her room for a minute.
Oh, it's like our own episode of Home Alone just happened,
Yeah.
And so
Here's Greg scrambling. Ellie, go lock all the doors. Put the dogs outside. I'm on my way home.
honey, I was trying to show her how much I can honor her responsibility.
Okay, before we discussed her staying alone,
Yeah.
you made the decision.
Well, I was trying to.
That's a whole
I'm
nother
trying to
topic.
show her that
So what you're saying
we
is
believe in her independence.
You made an executive decision about when our kids are ready to stay home alone before discussing it with me.
Well, actually, Drew's did, but yeah,
So then you call me.
everybody survived.
Then literally, Greg calls me and he's like, hi. I'm like, hi.
Yeah, I figured I better get ahead of it.
Yeah. And he goes, so I'm going to come back and get Ellie. I'm like, you are. And you're telling me I'm sitting in the driveway. And so
You're already at home.
I already know at this point. And I'm like, oh, let me hear how this is
And
going
those
to go.
eyebrows went up again like that.
Let me hear how this is going to go. Because I'd love your version. Because I just saw Ellie, you know. You go, and then as he finishes his version, he goes, oh, you're there? Uh-huh. Oh. I think I'll just stay at practice. I'll talk to you afterwards. I bet you are.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right, let's move on. Okay,
You'll appreciate me later.
Asking what is the game plan when going somewhere? Okay.
Yeah.
First
just to
thing
make
is
sure all the kids are in the car.
the game plan is everybody gets to go.
Uh-huh.
Right? We're not going to leave one at home. But then really just so okay, what do you expect when you get here? It's all right, we're going to the birthday party. Listen, guys, we're going to be there for an hour.
However long. Yep.
What that means is, and they know this just because of us explaining it, but we have to explain this stuff like to Hunter right now. What that means is I don't want you to argue with me at the end of an hour. When I
Right.
tell you we're going to go, we're not going to do anything other than just be like, yes, Mom.
Yeah, which
okay.
means we get ahead of it always. So our kids, I mean, not that our big kids do this, but complain or like throw a fit.
Yeah, or like Hunter gets caught up in the other kids that are doing that.
Correct.
Because that happens at pretty much every birthday party,
Yes.
right? So, yeah.
Yeah, and we prep ahead of time and we tell them, and that means I don't want you throwing a fit. I don't want you being upset, and we're gonna go.
Yeah, or, just another example of like a birthday party thing. Say the bigger kids are going too, and they're at some kind of a gymnastics place or something like that just happened. well, it's okay. Well, what's your role when you're there?
Yeah.
And maybe sometimes it's like, no, you guys just go play and we're good. I'm watching Hunter. Sometimes it's like, well, there's a couple parents there that I need to connect with.
Right.
And so can you two bigs, be sure that you're keeping an eye on Hunter.
Correct.
So that way, if I'm distracted, like there's always a game plan.
Yeah, I think too, prepping your kids, even like I don't know how many times we've gone to different events and the kids are becoming of age where maybe they don't want to kind of run off and play and do anything. And they'll say, hey, can we hang with you guys the whole time? Or are you guys trying to connect with people? Mm-hmm. Asking us in a polite way, like, so the conversations you're having, are we allowed to be a part of them? Or are you trying to have your own conversations with your own friends?
That's good.
And we prep our kids ahead of time. Actually, today's really fun. Join in every conversation. We would love it. And then sometimes we're like, you know what, maybe at first, but then we want to have some conversations with our friends without you right there. So you guys can go do your own thing. Mm-hmm. And I think that's important because if not, two things that we're always protective of is our kids' minds and their hearts. Mm-hmm. So sometimes there is adult conversations, even when your kids are 16. Okay. Yeah. There are some conversations we're not ready. And the person that we're talking to, they don't want our kids to hear it either. And so we want to be respectful of that. And we want to allow our children to step out and not be in our space so we can have those conversations.
And sometimes you just even need a little adult time, right?
Correct.
Or even if there's not really anything you don't even want to hear, it's just a matter of, because we know what happens. It's they'll hear some stuff and you have the conversation and then we get in the car and then it's like questions from every direction about this, but you're just not in that mode of wanting to do that necessarily,
right.
And it's okay.
I want parents to understand it's okay.
Yeah, it's
okay. I mean,
okay.
Sometimes I bring my kids this stuff, but it is, hey, you guys can do your own thing, but I want to talk with my friends and laugh and have fun and have my own release time and not necessarily, because I think as kids, they then want to participate so much too. Then they're monopolizing the conversation that I wanted to have.
Right.
And so again, that's all prep time. Same thing goes when we travel. We're super like ahead of the game when it comes to even like, hey, we're all going on the plane. Where's everyone sitting? So we're not arguing when we're getting on the plane. I mean, as you can imagine, the bigs, again, this isn't a big deal, but we have a couple little kids and it's like, well, I want to sit next to dad. I want to sit next to mom. I want to sit next to Bella. It's like, let's figure this out now. So we're not on the plane arguing and holding up the whole back end, This is all prep
time.
time.
Same with when we're on a road trip.
Same
the
thing.
Seats in the van, you've come up with just a rotation, basically.
We do a rotation.
Now, right?
Because it's like, again, I want to sit up front. I want to be in the middle. I want to be in the back. It's like, can we get this figured out now so we actually can have fun?
Yeah.
And not worry about this.
That's right.
And so, again, to us, the prepping is actually a way of honoring and showing appreciation for what we're going to do.
Yeah. Really quick one. We're running out of time. When Grandma and Grandpa come into town, the older kids giving up their junior suite for a few days and moving into a different room, but doing it with joy,
Totally.
Staying on top of mentally realizing it's really great that our grandparents are even here visiting us. Let's be thankful that they're even here, even if it's a little inconvenient in any way. Let's do it with an awesome attitude. Let's stay on the appreciation train the whole time. And they do, but we've had to teach them,
correct,
how to think like that. I'll say another one here is that I think is a really big one is, teaching your kids how to encourage each other, right?
Yes.
This is a practical way of showing appreciation. For instance, when Bella is doing her tryouts, for basketball, what does that look like? Well, I can remember when we're going through this, talking to the other kids with you on the side and being like, this is pretty intense. There's like a ton of competition here. She's trying her hardest. Let's just be encouraging. Let's make sure. Let's when we ask her questions after she went through the tryout, how's she doing? Does she want to answer 20 questions or does she just want, some short answers? Let's just have some discernment here. Maybe she needs a little space until tomorrow.
To sleep on it and relax. And I think too, with that, honey, it's so important. Like then once they are going through this process, let's say they do make the team, and all of our kids have thrived in sports and have made them. Thank you. And, but one of the things is we all show up for them. That's right. How we appreciate
going to each other's games.
We go to everybody's game unless there's a real commitment that we just couldn't all be there. It's not the norm.
Once in a while now we're kind of coming up against, okay, well, we can't go to both Jerus's and Bella's game at the same time.
Right.
So we have to divide and conquer. But otherwise, we're all there.
But as a whole, our family all does it. It's not, hey, by the way, I'll just stay home. I'm tired.
Yeah, no, we don't do that.
If you're tired, get a rest in before we leave because we're all heading over to support And that can be for anything. Like sometimes even, I think about tennis and stuff. It's not the most convenient to grab, blanket and sit outside the tennis court the whole time. It does after a while. You're kind of like, okay, they're not up for a while. We're all sitting in the grass.
Yeah, you know. And just to be clear, like sometimes we're not in town, or sometimes, and grandpa have to take one, or sometimes I have to be gone because I'm working.
Right.
Like we're not so anal that, we're feel
giving
like
up everything.
We feel like we're failing as parents if we miss a practice or a game or something.
No.
It's not like that. But we show up when it's reasonable to show up instead of not.
Right.
Because
we care. And our whole point behind it is the caring aspect, the appreciation, the remembering that we're all going to show love by doing this. And when we are there, we're going to be the most encouraging people while we are there.
Yeah. Same thing with church auditions that the kids just went through recently.
Oh, yeah, they did so good.
They were working so hard and they were so nervous, auditioning for being on the keys and the worship team. And everybody's just pulling for them.
Totally.
And everybody's just supporting them, And even like I just launched the Man Maker community.
Yeah.
And watching the kids just be like, Dad, so it's an exciting day. Today's the day. And, how'd it go? I'm sure you did. Or they'll even sit off the sides sometimes and just be like, Dad, you did so good today.
Yeah,
you did so amazing.
Encouraging.
They're so encouraging. And it's just, I don't know. It's really great.
Again, these are the little things as a family that we prioritize so that when, maybe somebody is feeling a little unseen or not appreciated, we can come back and say, hey, I just want to remind you. Yeah, you might be feeling that for whatever your feelings are in this situation. I want to tell you how we are doing it, though, that you might have forgotten.
That's right.
You might forget how much we all care about you because we all drop everything to get to your name.
Yeah, and there's a real philosophy out there. I mean, I read it in a book one time. It was about finances, but it was talking about whatever you don't appreciate runs from you. And, he was saying that sometimes people will say, well, money's not important. It's like, well, you got to get that out of your vocabulary because money's important for the things it's important for.
Right.
Right? It's not more important than the most important things.
Right.
Okay. But it is important.
Yes.
And he said, just imagine, if you ever told your wife, hey, like, I know we're married and, I love you and everything, but I just don't think you're important. I mean, how's that going to work out? Or what if you tell your kids, hey, listen, I want you to honor and respect me as your father, and show me love. But by the way, I don't think you're that important. You see, I mean, like, so we have to show appreciation because then it lets whatever we're appreciating know it's important.
Right.
Right. And then it doesn't run from you. In fact, it runs to you.
Right.
So anyways, good stuff, honey.
I appreciate you.
I appreciate you too.
I do. I appreciate you for all the stuff you're doing. I appreciate for the way that you lead our house and the kids. And I was listening to you send some messages the other day, and it was just some coaching that you were doing with another client of ours. And you were just explaining to him that, you know what, you do have a lot on your plate because the person was asking you a lot of detailed questions and they were like, I don't want to take too much of your time. You're like, I am busy. I do have a lot on my plate and I don't have a lot of extra time because I am prioritizing things like coaching my kids and being there for my family. And then outside of that, I have lots of commitments. But I loved how you said it. It's like, I am busy because I'm prioritizing my family and I'm prioritizing coaching my kids. Yeah. And you don't take it for granted that you get to do that. And I love that about you, that, every night after a long day of doing everything else under the sun, coaching and helping others, there's always, if not all, at least a couple kids that are like, hey, Dad, I have a question for you. And that question lasts another hour, and you're like ready for it. You're like, okay, let's dive into this, and you enjoy it even when you're tired. And I really like seeing the joy in your face coaching our kids the most. And I really appreciate that about you.
Wow. Thanks, honey.
You're welcome.
Sure do love you.
Love you.
Hey, everyone. Thanks for listening and thanks for your love and support. We hope that today's episode added tremendous value to you and your family. It would mean so much to us if you would partner with us on our mission of helping parents around the globe raise champion children in this crazy world.
To do so, simply take a moment to like and share this podcast with everyone in your network. See you next time.